Wednesday, 4:35 p.m. Nelson Search and Rescue cuts through the glossy calm of Kootenay Narrows en route to a marine rescue.
Nelson Search and Rescue's been called out for marine rescue for a downed helicopter in the Creston area. We're just putting our crew together right now and heading out on the water. Little information right now, just that helicopter's in 30, 40 feet of water. I don't know how long ago it crashed. Most likely we're going to be just doing support for RCMP dive team or what have you. So get out there as fast as we can and we'll see what goes on.
The downed aircraft is a Robinson R-44 helicopter that was flown by a trainee helicopter pilot on a solo flight. The Creston RCMP received a call reporting the helicopter overdue. Soon after, a farmer reported a possible crash in the Kootenay River located between Kootenay Lake and Duck Lake in the Creston Valley. Nelson Search and Rescue are en route along the west arm of Kootenay Lake.
It should take us about 35 minutes to get to Creston. The road goes about 50 miles an hour, so it's not too bad. It's a calm day. We're heading up the West Kootenay Arm right now. It's pretty narrow, not much wind through here, so the waves are good. Should make good time. Creston's our base, Nelson 3-1. How you copy now?
As we were coming up the river, we found quite a bit of debris, and all the way along there was an oil slick. And it was very obvious, and we were following it, until we got 3 or 4 kilometers up the river. The police were on the shore saying that this was the general area that they had found the pilot's helmet and some debris of the helicopter. And at that point, we noticed that the oil slick had stopped.
The team begins to search the area for clues to the whereabouts of the downed helicopter.
Oh, look at the slick here, eh?
We could see the Buffalo aircraft from the 442 squadron flying overhead, circling. There was also private aircraft out there.
That's a PFD, or a first aid kit.
Oh, look at the oil here. Did we have that little pike pole?
Grab the pike pole from the back.
We saw a lot of debris floating in the water, mainly quite a large fuel slick on the surface.
There's an oil filter right there in the water.
We really keyed in that we were on it when we found an oil container that actually was for aviation oil, gear oil of some sort. We did a couple of grid searches here and there across with a boat. It really got to a spot where we could actually see fuel coming up to the surface and, expanding on the top. We had reports of debris strewn out of a large area, upstream maybe 5 kilometers and downstream 2 kilometers. If gear oil was coming to the surface, the motor must be down there. That's where the fuselage will be, which didn't make a lot of sense to us. I mean, how did this aircraft crash here and have these pieces go so far away? We realized, collectively that we needed to confirm that this was the position of the aircraft. The fuselage was down there.
To locate the fuselage, the team first determines where the oil is reaching the surface. Then they position upstream, calculating the distance the current would have moved the oil on its journey from the river bottom. The team prepares to lower their onboard underwater cameras to see if they can spot the wreckage below.
Oh, that's good. I like it. It's perfect.
It's kind of an eerie feeling because you're looking at these screens, at all this stuff underwater, and all of a sudden out of the gloomy darkness, you see a bright red piece of something. It's like, whoa, okay, this is real. We continued to move the cameras around, coming across bigger and bigger pieces, until we actually got one of the cameras hooked up on a piece of something. After moving the boat back and forth on the anchor line, trying to reposition the line so we could get the camera jarred free. When it came free, we actually bounced up over top of the actual fuselage of the aircraft. We had found the helicopter.
There's no doubt that this is the crash site, but has the pilot made it out alive?
We had mixed reports about footprints on the bank. Did the pilot survive this? Is he out somewhere in the estuary or the swamps looking for help? The search is still going on. The next step of this is to actually find the pilot, either on land or confirm that he's with that aircraft or with that wreckage. We continued with the drop cameras. It was really just by sheer luck. On one of our passes, the camera actually came down and landed on a piece of fabric. We had wiggled it around it a bit, but we kind of made it stop. Got everyone to look at it and say, okay, could this be a headliner in the helicopter, a fabric for the seat, or could it be clothing? We kind of didn't want to lose the position. We could bounce the camera off and lose that whole thing. and have to go back and search and search. So we decided to move it one more time. We lifted the camera up and let it back down, and it landed pretty much in the pilot's lap. We could see his legs, we could see that he was wearing shorts, we could see a shoe. This changes everything. At that point, we called in to base, told them that the search is over. You know, we had a code 4 subject. Terminate the search.
It's Thursday morning about 9 a.m. Yesterday, late in the evening, we found the helicopter, got our drop cameras down on it. We're able to see that the pilot was inside still. We're with the RCMP dive team this morning. We're going to head back out to the site and do the recovery.
We've been called to assist the Creston Detachment with the recovery of a helicopter crash a short distance away from here. Our job now is to video the entire scene as best we can. Our investigations assist the coroner in determining the reasons for the fatality. We'll also assist Transport Canada to determine cause of the crash if at all possible, recovery of any kind of equipment and the debris, also to recover the victim. And that's really our main goal, is to get the victim back to the family for closure.
This is where the aircraft is located, the blue buoy in the middle between the two boats. The helicopter's about 45 feet deep.
The dive team goes down to record images of the crash site. Though much of the helicopter fuselage is here in the river, completely demolished, other parts of the aircraft are spread out over 7 kilometers.
So you can see the impact was quite hard. There's a piece of the fuselage here. You can see the distance that it was thrown from the actual aircraft, which is over there.
And then there's the mast is still standing upright. There's one main rotor that's coming off and it's broken about here and comes straight down. This part of the chopper is all exposed and flattened. Once it hit the water, it would have gone straight down, but by then, like I said...
Now that documentation was done of the crash for Transport Canada, the RCMP had contacted the coroner and gotten permission to actually remove and actually do the recovery of the body. They dove down with a bag and packaged the subject under the water and brought him to the surface. Now, most teams, recovery work's not done by everyone. We usually have a few senior people. We've done it several times. They're used to it. They found they're okay with it. They tend to be the ones that do it. Now that the recovery's been completed, this is territory we don't always enter into very often. How to remove an aircraft that's in 41 feet of water with another aircraft and get it to shore. We're going to use another aircraft with a long line system, put a 150-foot cable. We would have one of the divers go down, hook a heavy strap to the actual rotor assembly, brings that strap to the surface so that when the helicopter comes in, they can hold it, connect the two, and then everyone can get out of the way while he hovers there. Once everyone's clear, we lift the aircraft out of the water very slow. Now there's some danger involved with this. The aircraft itself isn't really that heavy. It's all broken up into the bottom, but it may hold a lot of water, which is. Plus it's broken apart, so when it comes out of the water, there's debris that could fall from it. We had a fair bit of weather blowing through the valley at that time too. There was quite some heavy thunder and lightning, so there was a lot of environmental things that we had to be aware of.
Once we lifted the helicopter up, the fuselage was extremely damaged. The main blades, one was broken right off, the other was bent right around, and it was obvious the tail rotor was missing too. So that was key to transport, to find that tail rotor. So we came back the next day, and further down the river actually, we found the tail rotor. So our good results of our searching.
The helicopter crash is under investigation. Why the debris was spread over such a distance and how the crash occurred are yet to be determined.
It's always unfortunate when a rescue results in a fatality. You know, but in this particular case, We found the subject, we found the aircraft. The circle's complete.